percent represents the number of parts out of 100. Here we have a hundreds grid and we can see we have 18 parts shaded. So that tells us this is going to represent 18% though. If we come back to our grid, it also represents a decimal. It also represents the decimal 1800ths. So we know that 18% is equivalent to 1800ths. If we want to change between percents and decimals, we don't always have a grid though. So since percents represent the parts out of 100, another way to change between percents and decimals is to divide our percent by 100. So to change 18% to a decimal, we could also divide 18 by 100. To do that, we're going to add a decimal point behind 18 and 1 up in our quotient, and then we can fill in our placeholder zeros. 100 goes into 180 one time, subtract 100, and that leaves me with 80. Add another placeholder 0 and bring it down, and we have 800. 100 goes into 800 8 times, subtract, and we have none left over. So dividing by 100 gives us our decimal equivalent of 1800ths. When we look at that, we can see that dividing by 100 essentially moves our decimal 2 places to the left. So if we know that, we don't have to work out an entire division problem. We can start with 18% and put our decimal that we know that is at the end of 18 where it belongs. Then, dividing by 100, we know moves our decimal 2 places to the left. So we can simply move our decimal 2 places to the left to change 18% into the decimal 1800ths. We can use similar strategies to go the other way and change from decimals to percents. Here we can see we have 52 hundredths shaded. We can also see that in terms of percent, we have 52 parts out of 100, so that would represent 52%. So 52 hundredths as a decimal is equivalent to 52%. Now we're not always going to have a grid shaded to help us flip between them, so another way to move from a decimal to a percent is multiply by 100 since percents represent parts out of 100. So our decimal 52 hundredths would be multiplied by 100. When multiplying decimals, remember we start out by ignoring the decimal, lining everything up on the right, and multiply like normal. So 0 times 2 is 0, 0 times 2 is 0, 1 times 2 is 2. Remember our place value, 0 times 5 is 0, 0 times 5 is 0, 1 times 5 is 5. Now we can add those two rows together and we come up with 5200. So now we have to place our decimal. Well, in our factor, 52 hundredths has 2 decimal places, so that means we're going to need 2 decimal places in our product. Start with our decimal at the end and we're going to move it in 2 places. So that gives us 52%. Well, if we compare 52 hundredths to 52%, when we multiplied by 100, all that really did was move our decimal point 2 places to the right. So if we know this, instead of going through multiplying, to change our decimal to a percent, we can simply start with our decimal and move it 2 places to the right in order to change 52 hundredths into the percent 52%. Check out the other videos in our playlist and don't forget to click on subscribe. Thanks for watching!